Welcome to the Zach and Kyle podcast. I'm Zach Halpern, he's Kyle Floyd, previously of Game Managers, the most critically acclaimed WTV radio show.
Yes, we're branching out to a less structured format.
Well, yeah, podcast, less structured, obviously, but we also have these mics and we have the video quality, so I feel like it's almost a better operation.
No, I really think it is. People are going to be able to see us, see our personalities, and be able to, talk freely about whatever.
Well, we also got rid of some dead weight.
We did.
Alex Greenberg.
Alex Greenberg specifically, whenever he started talking about soccer, I just wanted to throw up. So that problem's gone.
We're also not sure if we're supposed to look at the camera or look at each other or just like the mic, which, by the way, these mics are not used for any purpose. Strictly a prop.
Strictly aesthetics, people.
So today we're going to talk about some NFL action. Obviously, the Patriots are in the AFC Championship game against the Broncos.
Again, yes, they are.
Which I'm not happy about. Well, actually, I am happy about because I want the Pats, I want their guts to be ripped out in the worst way possible for Patriots fans.
Man, I'll tell you what. Here's a couple things I think about this game. Number one, I don't care nearly as much as I did last year. And here's why. The feeling last year, if you were a Patriots fan, is like, I think everybody felt, if they don't win it this year, they're not going to win it ever again. Because it had been 10 years since they last won a Super Bowl. And they had so many amazing teams throughout that 10-year span. And you're like, oh my God, they haven't won. Are they going to be able to win this? And last year was just the perfect combination. And after they won that Super Bowl last year, it was just like, finally. It's so much stress taken off Patriots fans, I feel like. And I really, I care this year, but it's not like, if they don't win, it's a Brady Manning matchup. And I think they both deserve to go to the Super Bowl. But going into Denver is going to be really difficult because I think they've lost every time they played in Denver.
Well, I don't think Denver's that good. And I don't think anyone thinks they're that good. But obviously there's a chance the Pats could lose on the road in Denver. I feel like that's kind of a big deal. But, dude, I need the Pats to play the Panthers or the Cardinals. Those teams, dude, Carolina and Arizona, Carolina, Arizona, New England are clearly the best three teams in the NFL. So I want New England to go against one of those two teams. I just think that's going to be the best viewing experience for the NFL audience.
Yeah, it would really be fun. I know the Patriots, when you saw Edelman come back in the game, it's ridiculous the difference he makes, honestly. There's so much less for that. And when you have Amendola being kind of that number one guy to go to, or LaFell, it's just not going to work. I mean, there's all the pressure on those guys, and they weren't getting it done. Edelman came back, made some huge third down catches. He had some drops, too, which is understandable because he's rusty, but the difference he makes to that team is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and Denver, a lot of drops in that game, though.
Yeah, also. And they have everyone healthy. They have everyone healthy in the pass game, run game. Good defense, too. An injury there for Chris Harris, but they got everyone clicking on all cylinders. So I think in this game, for both defenses, going to be get to the quarterbacks because neither quarterback is really a threat to run, so punish the quarterback.
So what do you think prediction-wise, score-wise?
I think if the Patriots going to win, it's going to be something close. It's going to be like 17-14 or 24-21, something like that. So
well, you just missed it. We had someone try to break into the studio, and Kyle fought him off with his bare hands.
It was intense.
He was a gymnast back in the day.
A wrestler, actually.
Wrestler for 4 years, I believe.
More than that, yeah. 4 years in high school, varsity.
So why'd you stop?
Why I stopped? It sucked. That's why. You gotta lose all this weight every week. You gotta have a strict diet. I was eating raisins and taking laxatives every week. It's awful.
You think that sucks? Antoine Randall just said that he can't even walk down the stairs.
Oh yeah.
And he wishes he played baseball. So
that's bad. Yeah, not a lot of good things coming out for the future of football players. I mean,
let's talk about that. Let's talk about the future.
This last year, it seems like we had a record number of people retire just because of reasonably young people too. Reasonably young players.
Let's go through. We got Patrick Willis.
I'm not going to remember all. Patrick Willis. Chris Borland was a huge one.
Chris Borland.
Because
he was the 24-year-old.
He was a star player.
Wisconsin.
One of the better young defensive players in the entire league at linebacker, I think. And he
also didn't make his money yet.
Correct. He didn't make his money.
Patrick Willis, who retired pretty early, I guess at age 30. At least he already got his payday. He's set for life.
So Borland was, he was so convinced that he was willing to just say, forget the money. I don't even care. I'll find another job because this is so dangerous. And I was reading an article in, it was either in BU Today or something else today, in which the NFL actually declined to back a BU brain study.
Yeah, I actually blogged about that a few weeks ago.
See that? So that's pretty telling. I mean, I don't know why exactly. I think there was a bad relationship between the person initiating the study and the NFL. But for the NFL not to fund any approved study, which I think this was scientifically approved by a couple of organizations, for them to not assist in that is kind of disturbing.
Apparently Robert Stern, he's the guy. I'll get the blog up here. He's the guy at BU who is doing the research, And apparently he's spoken badly about the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So they either pulled their funds or they just weren't going to fund the study at all. And I was just saying, it's classic NFL protect the shield.
No, it really is. I mean, they're obviously not in the stage now. They're obviously not in the stage they were before, where they were, actively coming out against the research about brain damage. They're like trying to dispute it, but they're still not being as, helpful as they should be.
Also, look at that LinkedIn bio. That's a lot of big words. You can't see them here, but I don't know how to say them. So. I don't know what any of those words
knows what he's talking
exactly.
about.
If the words, and I said this in the blog, but if I don't know what the words mean, I would trust him with any medical procedure. Because that means he's a smart guy.
Yeah, I definitely would. But yeah, it's concerning. I mean, then I guess a lot of players couldn't really speak to it until they were out of the game and probably have experienced some of the things that Randall L is experiencing now. But I don't know. I guess it's still split because you have a lot of NFL players who, in their Hall of Fame speeches or whatever else it may be, just really appreciate being a part of the sport and having the opportunity to play. And there's a whole other side of it of guys who said they would never do it again. So.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Because like Randall L was saying, there's no way to change the sport. It's going to be violent regardless, which I think we all kind of agree.
I mean, the optimal thing would be to, not forcefully hit each other. But that's just, it's the sport. And that's how it's going to be. And America loves it. And so many people have the talent to play it. And it's going to keep happening for a very long time.
Let's get back to the games this week. So we got Pats Broncos. I think we both think New England's going to win that game, right?
I think New England's going to win. I'm worried though.
I think they could have some trouble, but I don't see any way Denver scores more than like 20. I don't think there's any way.
Yeah, I mean, look, Peyton didn't even throw a touchdown that game.
Yeah.
He didn't throw a touchdown. He looked like he had trouble at times. And if the Pats can get to him, then I think it's going to be a long day for the Broncos. At the same time, though, Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware could wreak havoc on Brady, but Brady's definitely the more healthy, attuned quarterback at this point in his career.
So what do we think with the other game, Carolina Arizona? First of all, let's talk about that Carolina Seattle game.
The Carolina Seattle.
Yeah, they were up 31-0 after the first half. I don't understand how Seattle scores 24 unanswered.
I really don't. Let's see. The Carolina's offense only scored one of those touchdowns in the first half. And,
did they?
They did. Or no, not their offense. Cam Newton.
Jonathan Stewart had 2 touchdowns.
But the defense really picking them up there. I don't know if it was really, really good defense or bad play from Russell Wilson on the interceptions. But that's concerning that you let a team get back into it that much. You have to put a team away if you're up by that much, clearly. And Seattle able to fight back into it.
And also,
we had a number of onside kicks.
Yeah, and also concerning that for Arizona, that they give up the Hail Mary to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's unbelievable.
That's nuts. And something I thought about is people were saying, like, what wouldn't it be interesting in those situations, those Hail Mary situations, to instead of putting your best defensive backs out on the field, put your best receivers out on the field to defend? Because the argument was that defensive backs are not used to defending balls that way. And bigger wide receivers would almost be better at it, at going up and getting that ball. Because it's just absurd that Jeff Janis could get in front of those players as that ball hung up there.
I didn't even know his name was Jeff.
Yeah. He had like 200 yards receiving his whole career.
Did he have the other Hail Mary too?
No, that was Richard Rodgers.
No. I mean the one earlier in the drive. Or like, not Hail Mary, but did you ever, apparently Aaron Rodgers...
I think he did, yeah. I think he had another long
He
pass.
threw one from the 2-yard line or something? Like to midfield, something like that.
Yeah, but he was a relatively new player. But that's just crazy. I mean, that can't happen, It's strange how defensive backs just kind of get mesmerized by the ball in the air. They don't even see the people.
Yeah, they're just they're waiting to catch it, and you just want to scream at them to jump up and bat it down.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It's like an instinct thing, maybe. I don't know. I was watching that game live, and I couldn't believe Rodgers made that play. I was so impressed with Arizona, in overtime now, just immediately getting down the field and scoring.
That was nuts.
Screw this.
Palmer made that incredible play to get away, first of all. And then going for Fitzgerald was just
a
freak in that. Yeah. I mean, he's just reinvented his career because they played him at slot, I guess, and it's just been different for him, but he's been unbelievable this season. Him and Palmer.
So let's talk about the matchup. Carolina, Arizona. It's a tough call. I really want to pick Arizona. Actually, I want to pick Arizona, but I want Carolina to win. It doesn't make much sense.
What are you talking about?
In my brain. My brain just has these things, but I'm probably gonna pick Carolina. I mean, I don't know. I just saw so much from that Seattle.
Hey, Jonathan Stewart looked great.
Jonathan Stewart. Hey. I said
knew I was gonna
all
inspire
year I said Jonathan Stewart was a very good back.
He looked the best he has in the whole game.
Him, and you told me that his family was a bunch of like horrible
Excuse
people.
Me, I
spoke
never
ill will.
said that. I just said he would have a bad fantasy.
You said his cousin Tony was a robber, which is not true.
All right. So, all that aside, the Cardinals don't really have a mobile quarterback. He's not completely stiff, but he's not Cam Newton. Cam Newton is the biggest thing you have to plan against, I think, if you're the Cardinals. But they have a lot of weapons on defense. The Cardinals as well. They're both solid defenses. Kuechly anchoring, one side, Patterson defensive back on the other. It should be a good matchup, but again, I don't really have that much faith in Seattle coming off of that first half performance. I don't know. I just feel like who am I saying? Seattle. They're out of it. No, Carolina. Because of the second half performance, I think they got stagnant and they just let the game get away from them at that point. And a good team in the Cardinals is going to be able to put you away if that happens again.
That is true, but then on the other hand, Carolina's D is unbelievable. I don't know if Carson. I think he's going to have trouble moving the ball on them. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One thing people were saying is that Larry Fitzgerald, I don't know if Norman's going to be guarding Fitzgerald, because Fitzgerald does play that slot position, and that's not what Norman defends, so Fitzgerald could still have an impact on the game. They have a couple good young receivers besides him and Michael Floyd and John Brown, so it should be a good game. And David Johnson, the rookie running back, he's really had a breakout year and can definitely have a big impact on the game, as Jonathan Stewart's going to have a big impact, so it's really going to be a close one. There's not a huge advantage either way, I think. They would be playing in Arizona, correct?
No, Carolina.
Right.
Carolina
was one seed.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
It's actually weird because it feels like the Pats are the 1 seed.
It does feel like
so
that.
it's strange that they're playing on Denver. Carolina, though, definitely, obviously 1 seed.
So we'll see how much of a factor.
What about Cam Newton though? Because you were spitting some hot takes on Facebook.
I was throwing shade on Cam Newton.
Yeah. What's your problem with Cam Newton? I love.
Okay.
Have any problem?
Look. It's okay to not like certain aspects about what people do and about certain people, and not hate the entire person.
I understand, but what problem did you have with what he did? I didn't have a problem.
I have a problem that Cam Newton stole a fan twice now. Yes, he did. Look at the video. The flag does not fall into his hand. Okay, the flag is not given to him. Cam Newton targets the flag, takes the flag, and throws the flag. And he ripped down a Green Bay Packers fans banner earlier in the year. That is theft, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot take fans' property and destroy it. Okay, and just because you have the money necessary to pay back these people does not make right what you did in the first place, okay? Like I said, you on Facebook, I can't go around stealing people's crap just because I can pay them back in the future. It's stupid, right? And what you said to me is an argument. You said people should understand this is an acceptable risk. You say you go into the stadium, you should understand this is a risk that might happen.
I didn't write that.
You didn't say that to me? You had an argument on Facebook.
Oh, my cousin was on my Facebook again, dude. That wasn't me.
Okay, because it was me. The response I have to that. The response after that is I said to you, go look for future instances of this happening. Because I had never seen this before. I had never seen an NFL quarterback or other player for that matter go into the stands and take something. Because to that argument, I would say, okay, if this had happened before with enthusiastic players and they were getting riled up and they went to the stands and kind of messed with fan stuff, then I'd be like, okay, then fans should know better. They should know better not to do this if they understand there are certain players and certain teams that would do this.
Dude, I'm watching.
But I hadn't seen it before. I'm
watching the video and someone literally hands him the flag.
No, they put it down, but they don't hand it to him. They're waving it.
Why would they wave it right next to Cam Newton?
Because they're trying to get in his face.
Don't do that then. That's a 12-man flag. They're waving it in front of his face. He snagged it.
It's not an excuse to take it. It's not his. It's not his.
It looked like they were giving it to him. If you go like this with Chinese food, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to grab it. Well, what do you want me to do? Look at it?
I'd really like to know what the exact intent was there. I'd love to know exactly what happened. Obviously, you can't from the video. But the Green Bay Packers thing, I think, was a lot more obvious to this. This kind of backs up whether this is that type of incident or not. What he did with the Packers thing is more disturbing. And he did pay the guy back. But I just don't think he should just mess with people's stuff and go up to this stuff. I think he should stay away from it.
I'm not advocating theft of property. I just don't think that's what it is. I I guess.
And I think that video can be interpreted a number of different ways.
I just think if you're at a football game and you're wagging a flag, a 12-man Seahawks flag in Newton's face, and he's just going to grab it and throw it, like, all right, that's kind of what happens when you bring a 12-man flag into the first row.
Yeah. But again, I think it's athlete self-control. Like, you can point out, there are college basketball games or whatnot where the students in the certain stadiums are placed like super close and they have their memorabilia or whatever, and it's the responsibility of the athlete to maintain his composure.
And what about Cam's like celebrations? You don't have a problem with that, right?
What?
Like when he celebrates when he scores touchdowns?
Nah,
okay, good. Because no, people did.
People like that. That's part of the entertainment.
No, people were like freaking out about that. They were like, "Oh, he's disrespecting the game." That's insane.
No, unless they were like vulgar or whatever.
No,
it's not an issue.
He was just having a good time.
No, you should celebrate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just don't touch my crap.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna touch. Your computer right here. I won't touch it. You can. I'm not gonna touch your phone.
Yeah, no, but he's crazy as far as how athletic he is and how big he is. I mean, in the national championship game, a guy like Deshaun Watson had a similar effect as far as being able to run, but he's not the size of Cam Newton. And when you add that size element to it, it's almost impossible.
Dude, I still don't understand the Kelvin Benjamin thing. How no one even talks about Benjamin, number one receiver out for the year in Carolina.
Yeah, well, people talked about it early, and like,
I know,
it's
but
going to
like,
be a big impact.
I feel like it should still be like talked about though. Think about how much like their offense, how much better it could be next year. I feel like no one talks about that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if Benjamin's your one, what's his name? Funchess is your two. Ginn is like, Kachary is kind of your slot, and then Ted Ginn's kind of like comes in, maybe does like a trick run play, maybe like runs down, does like a fly pattern, returns kicks. So Ginn's like your all-purpose guy. Slide Kelvin in as the one. Oh, Greg Olsen also tight end. Like, dude, that offense is only gonna get better.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good. Yeah, it's gonna be really good. Another number one wide receiver missing this year was Jordy Nelson, and I think you can just see how obvious of an impact he has on the Packers. And when he goes out, that thing kind of falls apart. And the Packers, almost made it to the NFC Championship game miraculously. And with Jordy Nelson, I do think that pushes them over the top.
The Packers are a little fluky this year, though. I mean, first of all, without the Lions, counting the Lions Hail Mary game, they went 4-6 in their last 10. So they were just they were a below average team after that 6-0 start. And I can't even remember how they were so good in the beginning of the season. I don't really was Rodgers just amazing because their receiving corps just isn't that great. And obviously they didn't have Devontae Adams for the Cardinals game.
He was out as well, so they were depleted. I don't know. I think it's just most of the time they're just riding on Rodgers' back. Even Eddie Lacy was playing awful.
Well, now McCarthy's telling him he has to lose weight. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is very hypocritical of Mike McCarthy.
It is. He should lead by example.
And now me saying that it's hypocritical of Mike McCarthy to tell Lacy to lose weight is hypocritical of me.
It's hypocritical, yeah. It's an endless cycle.
It's a bad cycle. So what else do we have here to talk about? I was thinking we could talk some movies if you're down.
Yeah, I'm down to talk movies.
Kyle's the big movie guy here. The director.
Yes, I understand the craft.
Yeah, okay, yeah. He knows his stuff. So first of all, what did you see over break?
Over break, I saw let me see. I had seen a bunch of movies before I left for break, but over break specifically, I saw The Hateful Eight and The Big Short, and I really liked both.
Okay, well, let's talk about The Big Short, because I saw that movie as well. I saw it with my friend who is a business major, so I kind of felt he'd probably be interested in it, and he was. I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. There were parts about it that I just were
what parts?
What's going on? Okay, all the quick cuts in the beginning. I understand that's a point, but it was just a little too much. And I did really like the parts of Selena Gomez, that random blonde girl. I don't know who that was.
You know who that was? That was Margot Robbie.
I don't remember.
She's the bombshell from Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
One of those beautiful women in the world.
Okay, I knew it was Wolf of Wall Street girl. Right when you said Wolf of Wall Street.
Just because she was speaking Australian, that you didn't.
Wait, was she speaking different than she did in Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, she had a.
You can't blame me for that. Yeah. That's confusing. It's Dominic. It's Dominic West.
You don't remember her for her voice. You remember her looks.
Well, I mean, I don't objectify, so okay. Maybe you do. I don't know.
No. Yeah, but the movie, I thought, like you said, there was a lot of it was nominated for Best Editing for the Oscars for a reason, is because it was done in a really unconventional way. But the cutting at the beginning of the movie kind of took you out of the story a little bit, but
and I had a problem.
The director's kind of an auteur director. He does kind of his own style all over the place, but it was a really interesting movie. The thing I liked the best about it was, I think going in, based on the commercials, you thought it was going to be something like a Wolf of Wall Street, where it didn't really have that much of a conscience as far as just like, these guys ripped off the banks. They had this wild time. They made a ton of money. But you came away from that movie, and it seemed as more of like a horror story when you came out of it, because so many people suffered because of it. And the movie kind of reminded you of that. It didn't just have all these people having success and then forget about, what impact it had on the American economy. It kind of reminded you of that. So it was a more layered film than I think something like A Wolf of Wall Street. Very well acted, and throughout you just, if you can get through all the terminology, which they do, a pretty good job of getting you through with the different cameos from celebrities. If you get through that, then it's a really, unbelievable movie, because you're like, how on earth did this happen? And is the people running our banks in America are actually, just extremely fraudulent, and they're trying to rip everybody off that they possibly can. And it happened, and they got away with it for so long. And as the movie goes on, these people who are professionals in their fields are like, oh my God, is this happening? And I think the audience at the same time is, going through that as well. So it's a pretty unbelievable movie to watch.
So who's the main character? The guy, not the main character. He was kind of like shown first in the movie. I don't remember his name, but he was like the craziest eccentric guy.
Yeah, Michael Burry.
Okay,
That's
so
the real guy, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yeah. Okay, so Christian Bale's character, I don't know. I just like he confused me. So he like bet on the banks to basically lose, and he won, right? Like he won all that money.
Yeah,
he bet.
Like through super deep analytics, he recognized a trend. As far as like the banks were giving out all these bad loans or whatever, and that the housing market was going to fail. And all from what I know about it is that the housing market was thought to be extremely solid as far as having like longevity, and that this could never happen. But he looked deep enough, and he kind of saw what was going on, and he realized that they could fail. And he's like, if no one else realizes this, and I bet on it happening, then I'm going to get tons and tons and tons of money, because no one else is going to catch on.
But then
he
wasn't like happy about it.
No, he wasn't happy about it, because what he kind of realized, what all the other characters in the movie realized, was that he just kind of lost all of his faith in the American like banking system.
Yeah.
So it's like you feel good because you're making all the money, but you feel bad because the country's
but that like
screwed up.
Depressed me, and I don't know. I guess
yeah,
that's the point.
And it's kind of it's the point of the movie.
But he's like betting. Like the whole point is that like he's trying to prove that he's right in the beginning. They're all like, "You're crazy," and then he is right, and then he doesn't get to enjoy it. What the heck?
Yeah. Again, that's just like the conscious part of the movie. Like all those guys made a lot of money, and everyone else kind of like tanked.
I don't know, but like, what was the whole thing with like the Steve Carell character? Like the whole thing with his brother. Like I don't know. Like it was confusing. It wasn't like character driven, but then there was like these weird character things that they went into.
Yeah, it was interesting. I like that they kind of gave their characters depth, though. So they went into that a little bit.
But I feel like they didn't do. They started to, and I don't feel like they did.
Yeah,
enough job
it was. There were kind of like pieces of it. You didn't see like the full picture. I'm not exactly sure what the whole. I would have to watch it again. I think the thing with Steve Carell's brother in the movie was like he thought he could just solve his brother's problems with money or something like that. So it's all kind of apart. It's not necessarily all connected. It seemed like it was all over the place, but I think all in all it was a pretty unique movie, because I had not seen a movie made like that. It was really all over the place and really just different. So it's nice to go to the movie theater and see something refreshing instead of something where you're just kind of like force fed something you want to be like happy about, like Star Wars, where they literally just gave you exactly what you wanted, even though I didn't like Star Wars.
Oh, you didn't like Star Wars? Oh, we could talk about that too.
Wars, no.
Well, why not?
I didn't like Star Wars because it was extremely cheesy, it was extremely unoriginal, and it made me feel stupid. As in, like, I saw everything that was going to happen like 10 steps ahead. The storytelling like leaked out. It was like, we're doing this, we're doing that. It didn't make you think at all. It didn't make you guess at all.
I don't think that's the point of it, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just for me, when I go to see a movie, I want to be more challenged, and I don't want to see all the like outside crap. I don't know. It's just like I felt like I was being moved around like an idiot, like a 2-year-old. Like, and the movie seems like, for me, it seems like it's for a younger audience, because when I watch the older Star Wars movies, I haven't watched a lot of them again, because right now in my mind there's like friggin' amazing movies, like the trilogy for our generation, kind of the Clone Wars and the Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith. Since I haven't watched it in so long, they still seem like amazing movies.
So you think they might actually not be amazing movies?
Oh, I know they are. I know.
Oh, you just don't want to ruin
I know they are.
Okay.
They're probably very simple movies, the kind of movie I wouldn't like nowadays. But that's why I'm not going to go watch them specifically, because I don't want to ruin the experience that I've stored up in my mind of those movies.
Wow, really caring about your childhood there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Star Wars was okay. I'm not really a Star Wars guy. I saw it with two of my friends are huge Star Wars guys, and we had recorded 2 Star Wars podcasts on redcupsports.com.
Nice.
Also check out the blogs.
But yeah, I think with the next movies they'll come out with in Star Wars, they won't have to regurgitate everything as much, and they'll be able to start building on a new story instead of just kind of redoing the old.
Other movie we both saw, Spotlight.
I
thought Spotlight was fantastic.
Great movie.
Yeah.
I got to see the BU advanced screening of that, and afterwards.
I should have went to
Afterwards, all the journalists who were in the movie were actually at the theater, and they answered some questions.
Wait, the real journalists or the actors?
The real journalists.
I should have went to that.
Yeah, it was good. Definitely a good movie as far as what investigative journalism should be. Just super dramatic movie. Another one of those movies like a Big Short type thing where you see this kind of scandal unrolling. You're like, is this really happening? And all the journalists in the film kind of felt that way. They were like, oh, is it 7 priests, 90 priests? Like, holy crap. So it kind of just gets bigger and bigger and makes you more intimidated as the movie goes on. But well acted. It's a really simple movie, but super effective.
I mean, yeah, they're telling a true story.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense. What else? I didn't see The Revenant with Leo.
Revenant's good. You should see that movie.
2-hour, 35-minute movie based in 1820s. So I don't know. Kind of a turn off.
Great movie. Now there's another story. Look, just see. It's nothing like. It's not even a complex movie. It's a survival story. It's a crazy survival story. Just crazy and. I mean, go see it in the theater if you have a chance. So many people don't go see movies like this in the theater. It's such a visual movie.
That's what my friend said who saw it.
It's so crazy how nice the thing looks. I mean, it's done by one of the best cinematographers in the entire business, Emmanuel Lubezki, who did Gravity and Birdman. And it just looks so friggin' good. And the actors and everybody just put themselves through hell to make the movie. They just went to the craziest wilderness in the world.
Where did they shoot it?
I think in British Columbia, among several other places they filmed it. But it's just nuts. It's a crazy survival story. And, it's less about the acting. There's not much talk in the film. Just a lot of visual and a lot of, crazy physical acting by Leonardo.
So what'd you think about the Golden Globes, by the way?
I thought they were all right.
Dude, how did that movie, was it Martian, win Best Comedy?
Look, did you see The Martian?
No, but I heard it wasn't a comedy.
Well,
I heard it was just not.
The Martian. I saw The Martian. I didn't think it was that great. I think it was overhyped. But it wasn't a comedy, and it wasn't like a real intense drama either. The character in the movie, Mark Watney, is so cocky and confident throughout that you never really feel like he's in that much danger, and that's the thing that kind of turned me off about it. So I can see where it's the comedy category in the Golden Globes is weird, just the way they do it, because they just kind of split the movies down the line from serious to I don't know.
It doesn't mean
it's really weird.
That's weird. It's not a comedy,
but
it's just not serious.
I was more in line with the Oscar nominations this year than the Golden Globe nominations.
So you liked the Oscar nominations?
Yeah.
So what about Creed, Michael B. Jordan, and Ryan Coogler? They didn't get nominated for anything.
No, they didn't.
You didn't see Creed,
and I didn't see Creed, so I can't really speak for that. But I don't know. I mean, Michael B. Jordan, I didn't hear that he was getting tons of praise for that movie, or Coogler specifically. But one of the things that's been brought up again this year is the lack of color in the Oscar nominations. Yeah. And there are a number of instances where I could point out swaps that I definitely want. First of all, Matt Damon's performance in The Martian. It was nothing special.
Yeah.
It was so ordinary and so Matt Damon. It's even if you were going to replace him with another white guy, put in Johnny Depp there, who transformed himself from Black Mass into Whitey Bulger. And because that movie didn't do fantastic, he probably didn't get the nom for that. But if you saw Hateful Eight, you need to go see that. Samuel Jackson's fantastic in that. And there's a couple other. Just get in another minority. Benicio del Toro in Sicario as a supporting actor. He was absolutely fantastic in that. And then Jason Mitchell in Straight Outta Compton. I thought which
guy was in Straight Outta Compton?
He was Eazy-E. And
Eazy character.
I thought he was great, and he was a relatively unknown actor, and he came out and did a fantastic job. So I thought he could have been put in there.
I have a question for you. How do you even judge acting in a movie? How do you know which is the actor versus, oh no, that was the director, oh no, that was just written really well? I don't know. I feel like it's really hard to be
super
that
tough.
Guy acted really well.
It's super tough the way they're supposed to separate those things. But I guess what I usually look for in acting performances is what was the hardest performance to pull off, and did they pull it off?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what everyone looks at. But if
that's why Eddie Redmayne won last year for playing Stephen Hawking, because that was friggin' extremely hard, and he did a good job at it.
But think about sports, in baseball, we have all these new analytics and stuff. I feel like the acting world's behind on that. We need some way to
we
measure
need a wins above replacement.
There should be a war for actors. That is an amazing idea.
No, but it's crazy. And something that's weird about the Oscars is when you see movies where they're nominated for Best Picture, but they're lacking nominations in all the other major categories. Because that's just weird. It shouldn't be that way.
They probably just do that on purpose, right? To spread it out. It's
They-
like the MVPs.
It
you
should.
know? It's like MVPs. Like, you can't give it to LeBron every year. Interesting analogy.
No,
but
you can't. But if you're going to say a movie is extremely good quality, then you must agree that the screenplay is great quality, that the directing is of great quality,
True.
and the acting is of reasonably great
Yeah,
quality.
I always feel like I can tell if something's well written or not because, I mean, you can tell by how the story's going along. Like, oh, that didn't really hit as hard as it should have because in the backstory of it wasn't written well. But I can never be like, oh, that actor was terrible and that's why I didn't like that scene. I can always pinpoint if I like the writing or not. I don't know. I have a very tough time saying like I didn't like the actor or I did like the actor. I mean, sometimes I could be like, okay, I feel like this guy's just like...
Yeah, and a lot of times the actors are given the opportunity, you know, based on the writing, whether it's great or not. It's
Exactly.
just like how it is. It's like not their fault
That's
that they weren't given a great script.
Exactly, but then why don't the writers get more credit, like, if a movie's so good?
Yeah, it
should
really
get more
weird.
credit.
It's really weird. I think usually the scripts that win for best screenplay are the ones that are just like stand out more as far as what the characters are saying. It's like, I mean, I don't know. Aaron Sorkin has written some pretty crazy stuff, like Social Network. You just start the beginning of that movie, and it's this conversation between two people, and the lines that are coming out of, you know, Mark Zuckerberg's mouth, and this banter is going on between the girl. You're like, this is just an extremely, you know, well put together conversation. It's so engaging, and it's kind of what they're saying, and then it's a combination of the actors doing a good job. But I don't know. Some writers are just super good at coming up with stuff and making entertaining dialogue.
So let's talk about wins above replacements for actors. Right now, who would have the highest WAR?
Man, who would have the highest WAR right now?
That's a good question.
It is a really good question. I would have to say like a guy like Daniel Day-Lewis. He's won a couple Oscars for acting, and he's just a guy who, and I would say he would win the WAR category because there are a number of actors I think who can play the same role. So they can do it.
Oh, so now we're really thinking about WAR, right?
Yeah, they can do it slightly better than the other one. But what you would look for in one with wins by replacement is a guy who the replacement actor just could not even do anything close to. And so you want an actor who separates himself from everybody, and that I think would be like a Daniel Day-Lewis character who like transforms himself for roles, like because actors who don't really transform themselves like physically or who can't do that as far as really turning into someone else I don't think they're valued nearly as much.
He did that. Bradley Cooper did that with what was that movie again?
American Sniper. Yeah, he did a really good job in that.
Like he transforms his body.
Yeah, and a couple years ago he would not have been you know considered an actor who
exactly
who's known for that, but he's stepped up his game considerably.
Yeah,
and the actors that can pull off those physical performances, you know, you admire just so much because they care enough to do it. You know, a lot of actors out there probably just wouldn't do it because like, no, I'm not going to take a job where they're going to make me gain 40 pounds, but other actors would want to do that. So, got to value those guys and girls more.
So, what film TV classes are you taking this semester?
Taking directing. I'm taking documentary production. There's a lot of journalism students in documentary production, which is interesting because they're trying to kind of bridge the gap between like
that's gonna be
film.
That's gonna be interesting though, because like I don't know if you're trying to make like a fictional film and someone else is like documenting something, like I don't know, they're just really different.
Yeah. Then I'm also taking acting for writers and directors.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Oh
yeah.
My god, I got to see a clip of that.
Yeah, that'll be fun. How about you? Are you taking any fun classes?
I'm a part-time student, so I'm taking 2 classes. Yeah, I'm taking one econ class, finish my minor, and a sports networking class. So
nice.
I'm finishing up. So
sounds good. Coming to the end of the road.
Yeah, I think that about wraps it up here. First episode, Zach and Kyle podcast. We need a name if we spitball right now.
In the comments section.
Oh yeah, comment section.
If there's a comment section,
we might not even have a comment section,
but we'll have a name next week for sure.
Also, maybe we can have like working mics. That would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because right now we're just talking, like it's just our voice.
Yeah,
these things. So. All right, we'll wrap it up.
Stay warm out there.